not just a doctor but a case leader, having numerous challenges, including falling off the raft 4 times and navigating through 11-foot waves. Her calm, courage, and clinical precision were vital to the team's success. Major Kavita's passion for sports and adventure started from childhood, and she's now sending her sights on Mount Everest and pursuing post-graduation in sports medicine or ophthalmology. Let's welcome Misha Kavita Vasuvale, an inspiration to young Indians everywhere. And his Wisma to address the gathering.
It's a very proud and privileged moment for me, being coming out of the same school, and I used to welcome the guests the same, like the deer standing over here. And today I got this opportunity to speak in front of every one of you. I guess I deserve less. So it's a great opportunity. So I feel like let's keep it very simple. Okay, we'll try to make it little interactive. So I'll show you few videos and few glimpses of Brahmaputra. Anyone knows like how long Brahmaputra river is? The length of Brahmaputra in India? Yes, right. True. Very great, very great. So the length of the Brahmaputra was, before our expedition, it was known as 1916 kilometers. So through our expedition, we came to know that it's actually 1040 kilometers. So sometimes even adventure allows you to know the real geography of a place. So Brahmaputra is one of the top 5 dangerous rivers. It is known for its rapids. So what are rapids? Basically, rapids are the waves that are formed due to the stones. Like suddenly if you have some obstruction, so the turbulence of water changes, right? If the water is flowing with that high volume, and because of these stones and because of other things in the river, so they produce a waves, and that are called as rapids. So Brahmaputra is known for its highest grade rapids. So there are 4 plus grade rapids. So there is high chances of getting the raft flipped. Okay, so you know what is rafting? How many of you have done rafting? Oh, nice. In Rishikesh? No. Okay. So one of the glimpses is this. Okay. No, only like leaf flips also. You can see how we have navigated successfully also. So if you have seen the last video, na, on the rightmost corner, by any chance, if you would have gone to the rightmost corner, we wouldn't be alive. So it was that dangerous. So that's why the person was saying harder, harder, harder. So whatever videos you have seen today are all the raw videos which I have put up, so that you understand there's no editing. I have all put the GoPro raw videos. So I will go in a reverse chronological order of whatever events have happened, how I have landed up. Is it fine? Everyone liked the video? Was it interesting? Okay, nice. So the river Brahmaputra, believe me, like today I'm standing here, it's not just because of my skill, it's just because of the blessings of the river Brahmaputra and the prayers of my elders and well-wishers. Otherwise, I won't give the whole credit to myself. That's the system of belief, I guess. Like, so initially I'm born in Guwahati. So my initial childhood was on the banks of river Brahmaputra. So I was given this opportunity. This was a vision of my team leader, Colonel Ranveer Singh Jamwal, and he said like we will go for river Brahmaputra. Then everything got finalized, and then I was given this opportunity that you go and do the recce part. Me and two guides, we have done it. The recce itself was so exhausting. Just 5 days prior the main expedition, we have completed the recce. So when we went for the recce, the starting point, searching the start, this was never done by anyone. So 4 times, 5 times I failed in searching the starting point itself. The starting point, I used to go down, go uphill 4 to 5 kilometers and then unsuccessfully come back, because you know the raft itself is 90 kgs. So it should be practically a place where I can carry the raft. No, the whole team can carry the raft. Even though we walk down, so it should be at least 4 kilometers, not beyond it. So we were like, we don't know, we are not even able to search the starting point, then how would we complete the whole expedition on time? Completing the expedition on time was very crucial. First of all, we did this expedition in the month of January, mid-Jans. Why mid-Jans? Because this was the only time you can ever think of attempting Brahmaputra. You saw the volume of the river, it's the double as the months go forward because of scorching sun, right? So the glaciers melt. Once the glacier melts, more glacier melts, more is the water volume. So still this was so hard, so difficult. So we couldn't even imagine as the months progressed towards March. So first we were searching for the, we failed 4 to 5 times. We didn't lose heart. Successfully, in a single day, literally that day I climbed uphill and downhill for 25 kilometers. 25? 4 times now? Like more than 25, 30 kilometers. Uphill and downhill. And then traveling, I still remember me and whole team for the 10 days of recce. Morning we used to wake up at around 5:30. And it was Arunachal Pradesh. So how you think, na? The food stalls over here, tiffin, everything is over here. So we didn't used to have anything. We used to take oranges from the trees, have the oranges as our breakfast, our lunch. And once when we come out of the recce part at around 6, 7:30, in our normal shop stalls, we used to have the rice. That was our first meal of the day, and next day again we used to revive. So yeah, so to achieve something, that passion and that sacrifice is required. And preparing your body prior. So you know you're landing up into something. So your body should be prepared that much that it can take up that many days of no exhaustion plus no food. So finally I got the first point, and then we have every day we did the recce, and there were places where we had to walk 20 kilometers to reach the river point. So basically we had two teams. One is the rafting team, one is the administrative team. So which carried all the vehicles, all the food items and all that. So balancing everything, I have done the recce part, came back and then started our expedition. So it is winters and river Brahmaputra. We went to our team leader, I said, and the most experienced guides were with us, like 10 to 12 years of rafting experience. I said, we don't know we can come back from this. If we attempt this, there's no guarantee that everyone is going to come back alive. And we explained it to the team leader that this is the risk, we're going to take it. And he said, like, once we are committed to it, we are committed to it. Till now, no Indian team has ever made a record in rafting. We have so many rivers, right, running from Himalayas. So many beautiful rivers, so many in our terrain. But till now, no Indian team has ever made it. First time we have thought about making it. So now there is no stepping back. So okay, then we went inside with two safety kayakers. So in rafting generally follows with the safety kayakers because anything can happen. At least there's a probability that at least a kayaker can help you hold in the water for some time. So once we started, this first day itself, we started on Sankranti, 14 Jan. And once we started, the starting 100 meters we went, we saw a rapid which was 200 meters long. So by any chance, if we fall in that rapid, the person is gonna sweep away for 200 meters and there is literally 10% probability of staying alive. Because 200 meters without breathing in such a running water is impossible. So yeah, as I said, belief. Belief not only in yourself, but to the universe, right? I believed in River Brahmaputra. I was like, whatever happens, River Brahmaputra is not going to take my life. I'm the child of River Brahmaputra. I don't know, it might be just it might be the courage or something, but you know, this is a small thing which we lack in ourselves. That is belief. Generally say you believe in yourself, you believe in yourself. Sometimes you need to believe in the universe, you need to believe in your teammates. When it comes to the teamwork, it is not you, it is just the team. So, and if you are coming out of that, if you are afraid and you just come out, then whole team is gonna disband. No one can make that record. So we just went forward. First, we being successful. 4 rapids, we went successful. On the 5th rapid, we, in between the 2 stones, one raft successfully crossed and the second raft, I was in the second raft and there was suddenly a second wave which came from the left and everyone in the raft fell inside the water. Me and another person just fell inside a whirlpool just below the stone. And I was approximately 6 feet underwater. So I was inside the water and I could see everything was dark. So it was a bright sunny day. So I could sense the darkness. I understood I am deep beneath the water. I opened my eyes. First thing I saw, I was calm. If my life jacket is there or not. If my life jacket is there, if it is strangled properly, then there's a probability I would survive. So I checked my life jacket, okay, everything is done. Now, I had such an urge to breathe. You're falling into that cold -degrees water, okay, and that also all sudden when you're doing such an activity, okay, and that urge of breath now, that is another level. Then I am just speaking to myself, okay, like whatever happens, don't breathe. And I was literally speaking as a third person to myself. Like me, my body is a separate thing. I'm speaking to my body like, don't breathe. If you breathe, I'm imagining water will go inside your larynx your trachea, and your alveoli, lungs. The lungs will be filled with water. So once it is filled with water, air cannot however go inside your body. So there's no use. The only thing that can make you survive is not breathing. You die like this without breathing, but if you breathe, then you're taking your own life. This was what I was speaking inside my. I literally felt that day that my body is something else and I'm something else. Speaking like a third person. And with the God's grace and with my little skills, I came out of the water, opened my mouth to the ultimate, then another wave came. But this time at least the water went inside the stomach. So swam for a few meters and then my raft was there. I get into the raft, vomited, but alive. Then it was a very shaky moment for the whole team. There was one teammate who gave up after this. He said that I don't want to continue anymore. He wanted to continue, but he got this phobia, hydrophobia. By listening to the waves itself, he started getting his heartbeat strong. It was, for everyone, it was a near-death experience. Just escaped death. So for everyone, it was eye-hitting moment, and but still, at that time, the team questioned again once that should we take this much risk? Then we remembered one thing. To make India stand up in that adventure world, to make India mark that yes, we ourselves can do a record in our own rivers. Just thinking that thought, we moved ahead. Similar, that day, again the raft flipped. The first stretch was the most difficult part. It was 20 meters and there were 12 rapids. And it took us, we started around 10 o'clock and we came back around 5:30. Whole dark, and that day one more event occurred with me. So the raft slanted little bit and one of my leg, because of the waves, got aparted and I was in the raft only with one leg. So my whole body weight came in one leg, and that day I had medial meniscal extrusion. If you know what, like, in between the knees there is a menisci and that got teared. Luckily, at least I could save my knee. Otherwise, my leg would have been one where and my body would have been another. So even after that, my team leader asked that you want to continue. I don't know why I felt like, one question I asked my guide, I can swim with this leg. I feel I can swim with this leg, so I'm not gonna die. So I'm gonna continue. So I walked 28 days with this injured leg. 28 days I rafted with this leg without giving up. As a doctor, I would never say it's a very right decision. But today, standing in front in this dais where I was once a student makes me feel worthy of it, of whatever I have done. So you have seen that video, right? In that one, that rapid's name is Ninggung Rapid. That is a grade 4+ rapid. There was no way we could ever cross that rapid. We knew that we were gonna flip. Mentally we were prepared. But yes, we thought let's go for it. Let's see how it happens. So once we went forward with that, what happened? As you saw, the raft flipped. So the raft went forward. I was stuck at somewhere else. So I have crossed whole grade 2+ rapid with holding a kayak. And literally when I was holding the kayak, he says, do not breathe. I said, do not breathe? Yes, do not breathe. Just don't breathe for until we cross this rapid. Literally, I didn't breathe for that that much time for while we were crossing the rapid, and but somehow no, it's a very beautiful, thrilling, and there was one more incident. Yes, the raft was in a. I guess I might have that video. So the raft was literally surfing. Surfing means like the same surfing on one of the whirlpools for 15 minutes. We literally went another raft. We crossed it luckily without getting flipped. So that's why again this expedition got successful. And then we rescued it by holding the rope and coming back. So like the whole thing was no less than a like what do you say more than a movie. So but yes, all this duration has made me realize how you should believe in your team members, how you should believe to the nature, and how you need to surrender yourself. Sometimes surrender is the best thing. Okay, so yeah, before, so as I said, reverse chronological. So we are done with Brahmaputra. Then comes my one of the Gorichan expedition, mountaineering expedition. So Gorichan is 6488 meters and it is the highest peak of Arunachal Pradesh. So I have been given an opportunity to be the same medical officer and be the deputy leader of that expedition. So after the whole summit, we start. So generally, any idea of how mountaineering expeditions are done? Summit is generally done at night. Do you know? You guys know? Okay, great. So, so we started at around 11 o'clock. We submitted the peak at around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Raised our tiranga over the mountain and we came back. So while coming back to the summit camp, that is 5,900 meters, it is around 10 o'clock. And then one of my fellow climber, she became completely unconscious. When I checked her pulse, I could not feel her pulse. Luckily, her breath was there. She was completely dehydrated. All the camp was completely packed. There was no, other than the emergency medical kit which I was carrying, other than that, I had nothing. Everything, whole camp is closed. I had a portable oxygen cylinder with me. I gave her oxygen, made her carry to one of the team members. We carried her. If I say that terrain was such a rugged terrain, walking ourselves was itself a challenge. But that person literally weighted 70 kgs, 75 kgs. Another person of 75 kgs carried a 75 kg load and walked down. In between, we were running, we were giving her oxygen, we were giving her water, fluids, and it took me 5 days to take her to the roadhead. 3 days to the base camp, 5 days. That night, when we went to the camp, I have given her IV fluids. Every 2 hourly, I didn't have enough oxygen. We do not have enough oxygen in the expedition. We carry only limited oxygen. So I cannot keep her oxygen completely whole night and then sleep off. So every hourly, I used to wake up, check for more, sleep for 30-40 minutes, wake up, give her oxygen, again sleep for 30-40 minutes. I have done that continuously for 2 days, along with carrying my own load of 12 to 13 kgs on my back and walking down towards the base camp. Luckily, the fellow climber survived, and for this rescue, I have been awarded by President of India Vishishtha Seva Medal and Chief of Army Staff Commendation also. So, getting Vishishtha Seva Medal in the rank of captain made me the youngest in my corps to get such a distinguished award. So, coming to how did I get this opportunity? being a medical officer, being a female, why would someone give me a mountaineering expedition or a rafting expedition? Did you guys didn't wonder about it? Like why a medical officer? So very to survive in army as a female, to any female I would say, you need to prove yourself. So the boss who has forwarded my citation, who has given me this opportunity, didn't want me to be in that institution at the first place when I got that posting. He went to the head office and he said, she's a female, I don't want her here. This is a very challenging posting. Nothing wrong, whatever he said was right. So, so he was like, this is a very challenging posting. I have only 3 officers in my board and I cannot afford if she says no to anything. This was exactly his words to the head office of my MC Corps. Somehow I had few contacts through which I came to know that such an event occurred. Then I took a leave. I flew to Delhi. I wrote a DO letter. I said I want this posting. I have worked so hard. I have done my mountain course on my own and on my leave before getting this posting. And I well deserve an opportunity before saying that I'm not capable enough. So when I went to that unit, generally what happens, you are being interviewed wherever you go. I've not been welcomed or interviewed in that unit for 6 months. 6 months I was in no network zone, walking 15 kgs weight on my back, uphill for 20 days, coming back, again going back, coming, and I proved that I can do, and there was no chief instructor at that time. So I played a role of being a chief instructor and medical officer at the same time and say that I'm worthy enough to be given any opportunity and any task, irrespective of my profession and my gender. I've been given tasks which I guess any medical officer would ever do. I have constructed a whole rafting node. I have made sure the whole rafting node is established. So I looked after the construction, the planning, the architecture and everything. So that's how I got rafting in my ball. So they said, okay, she has established the rafting node, we should give her rafting expedition. So saying no, sometimes, we have some prefixed ideas in our brain. Okay, my profession is this, my job is this. And we just miss that narrow opportunities. Sometimes it's all good to give your 100% in whatever you're given. And sometimes you get back in something which you don't imagine, okay, this is going to come back to me. While doing this minute task, I was just giving my 100%, that like, you cannot question my profession, you cannot question my gender, and you cannot give a tag that she is not capable. Okay, so in whatever you go, whatever era you choose, just give your 100% and you will see a blooming results towards yourself. Like that's something, you just need to give your 100% and whatever you get out of it. It's never like, I don't know how it works in corporate world, so I don't know, but army is a thing that makes you better as a person. I won't say that I'm a very best doctor in this world, but right now if you say me, like I have to construct this building, I can construct this building. I can look after a building, I can organize an event, I can build something, or like as a person you are like said, jack of all and master of none. So army is a beautiful organization which do not give you the opportunity, it makes you do like that. Okay, so coming back, why I choose army. So I'm the first graduate of my family. Studying in this school itself was a privilege, which so I know how my parents have worked hard enough to even make me study in such a school, and school has always been supportive. So I shared Malini ma'am a recent video of my aroma. So I was anchoring in an aroma in my first year of the school in the 8th standard. And I was sharing that to ma'am. See ma'am, like the years have passed and like coming back on the aroma is something very heartful gratitude to the school. So communication, please. Shri Prakash gives you such a big opportunities to come onto the stage, speak up, okay, interact with the people. You think like right now you're meeting us, you're meeting like Shri Prakash gives you a very opportunity to meet every different perspective, different person. Please do not miss this opportunity of interacting with the personalities who come. Know their stories, know their pros, know their cons. Whatever you have, you should extract the max out of it. I would definitely bet any other school gives you such a wide horizon of such exposing to different personalities, because when I was there since 8 to 10 standard, the people I met really inspired me. So when my aroma was there, the youngest CEO was Subhash. I was like, he was 30 years old and he's sitting in the aroma. And that was an inspiration for me. Like a 30 years young person becoming a CEO of a company is not a small thing. And I got an opportunity to interact with them. So please do use of this opportunity, because it doesn't matter from where you belong, where you come from, your belief, your knowledge, your communication skills are the primary things which make you deal with the surrounding outside. Even though you have lot of knowledge, but you don't know how to communicate with a person, put your point forward, it does not make any sense. So that's it. Just few stories, few things from my side, and anything from your side you want to know it would be great. I would. Good morning.
I wanted to ask if you knew you were going to join the army when you were studying in the school.
And please, like whoever is speaking now, please say your name also. I just want to, even though
Roma.
I understood. So, frankly, I didn't know that like I have a power to my eyes. I am a myopic. So, I didn't know that as a doctor I could ever join army. So, all thanks to the YouTube. Like somehow I was curious, and in my third year of MBBS, I looked into if there is like if they are also there, they might be treated with someone. That's how I came to know. Okay, fine. There's like doctor also go into. That's the whole reason I want to show you all this, that there is a path like this. It's not that you guys follow the same, but you should be aware that explore your horizons. Like there are things. Like most of them said, like being a doctor, you can never do all this thing. But I proved them wrong. So it's like you just need to stick to what you want and just go for it.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Shaitra, and I have actually two questions for you, if that's possible. And you're here standing as a beacon of inspiration for all of us. Who is one person in your life that inspired you to do all this, ma'am?
If I would say one person, Nims Dai, if you have seen that his video, like he's a mountaineer. So he's a Nepali Sherpa, and he does craziest stuff. And like if you say at starting how this things popped up, it has gradually popped up. So like I really wanted to explore. If I'm on Earth, I should see everything on Earth. That was my point to the maximum. So I went to the trekkings. I started with trekkings. Then I wanted to explore more. I wanted to know that skill of mountaineering. And once I've started into mountaineering, then this person has become a inspiration to me.
And what are some future endeavors that you're going to do in?
So yes, the plan is there. So basically, I'm thinking next year to pursue kayaking, because rafting is a team thing. So I need to gather the team to do such adventure ahead. So kayaking is a single person. So starting with kayaking, and then if there is a, since adventure is a very costly and sports, so we need a lot of support and sponsorship since I'm in army. So let's see, if I'm given an opportunity of 8,000 meter peaks, I would anytime go for it. And I want to do rafting in a Colorado River, because Colorado River was the first time where the rafting has started. The whole concept of rafting started on a wood raft. So that was in Colorado River.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very inspiring and it created a lot of hope for every one of us. And your way of speech itself was like creating a lot of images in my mind. Like the way you described when you were 60 underwater, I myself was I was there. So thank you for that, ma'am.
Who is your inspiration?
Inspiration like person? Yeah, like in adventurism side, as a overall, you mean as a overall, as a child? So yeah, I said no. The Subhash, the youngest CEO. I felt like if a youngest in that age, if he become a CEO, then I felt him to be a very that has really showed something in me. I felt like I should also be one day where now becoming the youngest person to attend one of the events like this. So luckily today, I guess I'm the youngest in the panel. So you want the tips and tricks to convince your parents? So the first thing is wearing uniform. Really today also, whenever the best dress I would wear is my uniform. Every day, whenever I wear my uniform, it's like once, and when I was in school, everyday school uniform felt it's very boring and all that. I thought like once I come out, I will be like, once I'm in college and outside working, I'll be wearing a new dress every day. But that joy of wearing a uniform and shining your ranks brings immense pride. You know, whatever it does sweeps away. And I'm saying you for your parents also, in the society, what honor and respect they get is beyond all this, because you have kept your country ahead of anything else, ahead of yourself, ahead of your family, ahead of any responsibility. You have kept being a citizen of the country and safety of the country prior.
Quickly, during the Brahmaputra explosion, did everyone make it out alive?
Yes, everyone was alive. With God's grace, there was only I was injured with that medical meniscus, but still, it's manageable. I'm walking right now, I can run. I have completely recovered myself, can go for another expedition. And believe me, Himalayas and rivers are so beautiful. It like when we are walking towards the mountain, we feel like, why the hell are we doing this? Okay, why the heck are we troubling ourselves? But once you see that, no, like once you see like at that peak, you feel that there's nothing greenery which exists. It's all snow bound, all snow covered, everywhere white, and it doesn't feel like okay, there is a greenery on earth. Like so yeah, it's like, and we have ice walls up to like uh, how much, like 200 meters ice walls. You have so many features, like it is very less to be described on words. So at least I would suggest everyone, please at least go for a trek. Okay, if not mountaineering, please everyone should go for a trek.
To extend my heartfelt gratitude to our guest, Major Kavita Vasupalli, for her gracious presence and valuable words. Ma'am, I thank you for your insightful words. It was indeed an honor and pleasure to listen to your words. Ma'am, I also thank you for letting us know the secret of success. Believe in ourselves, in our team, and in the universe. We assure you, ma'am, we will believe and reach our goals. I would like to thank our director, sir, for organizing this spellbinding session. Last but not the least, I thank all the students for their interactive and enthusiastic participation. Thank you. Now, let us all stand for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभाशिष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।